Simon & Schuster AudioWorks presents Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Well, Ben, I'm sorry I was a little late for a recording, you know.
What's wrong?
Well, I was making a big megalopolis in the toilet. In the toilet, I was creating a Garden of Eden in the toilet, you know. So I had to take some time to do that, so then I could record, you know, from new revolutionary materials that you could probably assume what they are.
You created new revolutionary materials?
Yeah, exactly.
In the bathroom?
In the bathroom, down the shitter, yes.
They allow you to construct at a cellular level?
Exactly, and morph and change according to my will.
What do you call this?
And people will try to people try to stop me, you know. People try to stop me from doing it, you know. They were in my way.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want me to create
strange incestuous cousins.
Yeah, they just didn't want me
evil TV presenters.
Yes, they were in my way, and they didn't want me to create the Eden that we need. You know, people are stuck in the past, but we need to think about the future. They're stuck in the past and the present. Let's not forget about that. And we should be looking to the future. You know. And so that's why I was late to the recording, because
What do you call this revolutionary new material?
Shit. I guess I don't know. I didn't think of it.
That's all you could ad lib.
That's what it is. It's shit.
You couldn't call it like Maxilon or something.
Maxilon, shitonium.
Yeah, anything you just went.
Shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's like, that's the thing. I'm not as full of myself to call it like anything fancy like that. You know, I just went, this is what it is. You know,
I don't think people are gonna buy into it.
Has anyone ever thought of doing that? You know,
I think people are gonna think you're being too satirical. If you're like, oh, if you do genuinely, like, that's the thing that you need to think about, is that Caesar, Adam Driver's character, knew the image was important. He called it Megalon because it sounds like the future, you know.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
If he was gone, it's called shit. People would be like, this guy's an idiot. This guy's stupid.
But
and that's how I feel about you right now.
It doesn't matter, because I have the money to create
You have a rich uncle, grandfather
I have
owns the bank or something?
The bank,
owns the bank and owns all of the money? Question mark.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
And he's gonna he's gonna give it all to you so you can create Fecalopolis.
Fecalopolis, yes.
Is that the idea?
That's the idea. No, in this case, he owns the treatment plant for sewage, so I have all the plenty enough of material to work with, you know.
Well, from the sounds of it, you didn't invent this then.
I invented the process of
refining
it into usable material.
Does it retain a scent?
No, it's perfect. It's a perfect material.
Oh, okay,
so it doesn't.
Right,
Yeah, as I said, you know, I don't. You could just say it's a perfect material, and it is. You know, you don't have to explain anything. It is just the only caveat in this case is that it has to go through me. Like, it has to go through my body.
Let's say hypothetically that some youth radicalized by an incestuous Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Trying to bring about your downfall through culture war.
Yeah.
Came up and shot you in the head.
Yeah.
Would you want somebody to come along with your shit product
Yeah.
and fuse it to your skull and brain so
Well,
that you heal. It's a
Well,
miracle
you know,
healing.
it would like, as I said, it's a perfect material, you know. So it just, and also as a creator, right? The beautiful architect, you know, I should do this, you know, as an example, you know, as I become a hybrid of a man and shit.
You embody your creation.
Yeah, embody my creation. Yes.
You embody shit.
Yes, I do, you know. And yeah, that's I feel like that's why I was late, you know. Because of all of that.
All of that happened.
All of that happened.
Your uncle / grandpa killed his wife and shot an arrow at your incestuous cousin.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then claimed that he would become Cassius the Generous.
Yeah.
And give you all of the shit. And
yeah.
because of that all happened in the 10 minutes
the
extra
10
time
minutes,
you needed.
Yeah, exactly, you know.
Yeah.
It's because I can stop time.
Here's the most important question to me.
Stop time.
Here's the most important thing for me when it comes to Shitopolis, okay?
Yes.
And this is what's really going to decide whether or not I live there, is if you answer this question correctly.
Uh-huh.
Will I always be 5 minutes away from either a theater or a hospital?
Yes. Because you're gonna you'll be able to travel by the flowing rivers of shit, I guess. That will take you there. Or
each individual person is entitled to their own shit garden?
Yes, exactly, absolutely.
Okay.
And also,
I'm gonna be honest. I think you've come up with a solution to fix the world.
And the shit sphere that runs.
Max, tell me about the mayor
but that's
of the
unrelated.
bathroom. Max, tell me about the mayor of the bathroom who doesn't want you to use the shit to build a better future. He wants you to flush the shit away so that you can get more teachers.
Yes, the more teachers and more schools, right? That's
so that you can continue prolonging the current state.
The current state, right?
Instead of jumping into the unknown.
Tell
me about the mayor of the bathroom.
In this case, I don't think he was. He said. I think his words were, "They don't pay me enough for this shit." I think that's what he said when I went. I need to take this. So you know, it was a bit like easier.
The rumors of you and the mayor of the bathroom's daughter being in love true?
Yeah, yes, she's my muse.
She's your muse.
Yeah.
She allows you to stop time.
She allows me to stop time because I lost that ability because my previous wife, died in.
No, he still had the ability.
Yeah.
After she.
Yeah, I don't.
Then it went away because everybody hated
you, and you were because I was trying to be a bad boy.
He was becoming disillusioned with the idea that he was bringing everybody into the future. You were bringing everybody into the future.
Yeah, into the future.
Started using randomly like third person pronouns for you. That you were bringing everybody into the bathroom future.
the skibidi toilet. That's what my
great
inspiration.
Is it? So what happens? Do you sit down on the toilet and then you go, time, stop?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and it stops. And then I have time to, indulge in my creation.
Because it's all about time, really, isn't it? Bathroom time.
The bathroom time. It's all truly the only place where you're allowed to be alone, you know. And I think that's the perfect kind of allegory to shit city, you know. My
Shitopolis.
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 You have to say.
If I could call the episode Shitopolis, I don't know.
Shitopolis.
Well, is that too much for an episode title?
We take Latin. We take Latin shit from Latin, and then we put it in front. What's shit in Latin? Let's have a look.
Probably like
Fecalos.
Fecalos.
Fecalopolis.
Fecalopolis. That could work. Hold
Yeah.
on. Latin for poop.
Caca. So well, that's
Apparently it's poopus. It's
Well.
puppies.
well.
Fecabus. Fecabus. Fecalopolis, I guess. I
Fecalopolis.
guess it'll have to be Fecalopolis.
Well, you know, that's
Alright, there we go. There's the episode title.
my great creation. You know, it's
Fecalopolis.
it's good that all the there was
Fecalopolis.
there was a fascist, I think, in my bathroom at one point.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get all the
Well, that
people.
was your incestuous Shia LaBeouf.
But yeah, he was trying to overthrow me in a way. Although I'm just a guy, I'm not an entity.
He, in conjunction with WoW Platinum, tried to take control of the bank so
Yeah.
they could seize your assets and destroy you once and for all.
Yeah.
But
WoW
it didn't work
in this case,
because
it's
your
WoW
uncle
Bronze.
/ grandpa is WoW Porcelain, maybe.
Yeah, WoW Porcelain's good. Yeah,
WoW Porcelain.
at least it starts with a P, like platinum.
It still kind of fits into the
Mhm. That's true. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Dead Ensigns, a podcast for friends and all of you out there who consider yourself a friend of the podcast. Welcome.
Yeah,
I'm Ben. This is Max.
that's me.
The
great
I'm
architect.
not feeling very good today.
He is not.
I have a stomach problem. I woke up first couple minutes woken up. I was like, I feel pretty good. Immediately afterwards, oh no, my stomach,
My tummy.
And a couple times, I was gonna go to Lidl to shop today to get food, but I didn't because I'm like, well, I'm not gonna eat today anyway, and I don't want to walk over to Lidl. But
Yeah.
there were a couple points when I'm thinking maybe I should say, hey, can we move the podcast to tomorrow? Can we record tomorrow? I know it'll be cut it really close, but but I didn't because I thought about Caesar and I thought about his message. How I could either sit here and work and prolong what I have, or I could go boldly into the future. I could ignore my own strife and be the great man that history requires,
It requires, yeah.
and usher us into an age in which we do have a podcast about Megalopolis.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Tulsa King out.
At the same time, and there's
At the
very
same
little. Honestly, yeah, we'll get into it later, but yeah.
We both saw Megalopolis. Max, I'd like to start us out. Could you repeat after me, please?
Sure.
I pledge of allegiance
I pledge of allegiance
to our human family
to our human family
and to all the species that we protect.
and to all the species that we protect
One Earth,
on Earth,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with long life,
with long life,
education,
education,
and justice for all.
and justice for all. And
Max,
I hope
what did you think about the scenes when Adam Driver
I
and
hope
Lawrence
everybody's been
Fishburne-
repeating with us. By the
Please
way.
also repeat with Max.
Yeah.
What did you think of the scenes where Adam Driver and Lawrence Fishburne were driving through the slums of New York?
Yeah.
And you could see Liberty is tired and straining.
Yes. Yeah.
You know? I think there seemed to be a statue of some kind of great philosopher as well, and his
Yes.
tablet broke, and he
Yeah.
slumped under the weight. You know? What did you think of this imagery when it came up?
I
in
think
the
it's beautiful. I don't know how they did that. How could they get such big people in the movie? Honestly,
They
I
got,
feel
got really big people. I've never
I
seen
don't-
these
I-
people
I
before,
think
and I
that's
hope they
where-
get more work in Hollywood soon.
I don't know. I guess that's where all that budget went. You know, to these big people. You know, because they're
All
big.
of the
So it's
Coppola
like
wine money.
So it's like, you know, remember that movie with about the guys that get smaller, they shrink, so their money inflates in price. You know, I don't remember, it's Matt Damon in that movie, and in this case, it would be the opposite. If when you get bigger, your money is worth like less. Our money is worth less than their money, so you have to pay them more. You know. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it was really cool. It's weird because this movie has a lot of disparity in quality when it comes to effects.
This movie is hard to talk about.
I know it is. I don't know if it's. The thing is that like I'm not big. I guess I enjoyed a lot of Francis Coppola's like movies. I'm not but this isn't it, Chief. Honestly, this movie is hard to watch in a way.
But this is the thing. It is almost intentionally so for me, at least.
I don't know if that's the thing. I'm afraid to state that, say that this is
anyway. Because what's going to happen is Francis Ford Coppola going to at us and be like, "Hey,
yeah.
Guess what? You're wrong." And then we're going to be like, "Brother, your movie was stupid and convoluted."
Yeah, he's
Give
got
us a break.
Google alerts on, one of them is Shitopolis, because he knows that's like the most obvious joke you can make, and it will pop up with our podcast.
So Megalopolis is Francis Ford Coppola's magnum opus. It's the movie he has been trying to make for many, many years.
40 years or something like that.
He first came up with the idea 40 years ago, but he's been trying to actually make it. Actually produce it for 10 years.
He was in New York, and you looked around and he was like, what if this was Rome?
It's it's entirely, I think, maybe not entirely, I can't say for sure, but basically the vast majority of the funding comes from himself.
Yeah.
He made it himself.
He sold his wine business, a lot of it.
He built up the Coppola wine business, and then used all that money to make this movie.
Fuck them kids,
From the ground up.
Does he even have kids? He has to have kids.
Yeah. He's got a famous child called Sofia Coppola, who's also a director.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
Priscilla
that.
A year ago.
She was in Godfather, right? They
she
made
was
fun
in Godfather.
of her she was
made
bad.
Lost in Translation and everything.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, he has been trying to make this movie for years, and because of that, it's one of those films that's too hard to it's not like the kind of movie that you can, but it's not the kind of movie that begs to be given an actual rating,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not like the
true.
kind of movie where you can go, I give it 3 stars. I give it 2.5 maybe out of 7.
Yeah,
it's just he just made it the exact way he wanted.
He wanted.
You can call it bad, you can call it good. It doesn't matter. The movie is strange.
Yeah, he I think he literally said that this is I don't want to die and not have done this. I don't want to do it. So it's
basically here's the thing. It's like Francis Ford Coppola's body will shut down in the next year or two because he made this.
Yeah, because he has no drive anymore. Because
he's I did it. I'm just gonna shut down now.
Yeah,
because I have made this. What seems to be some kind of path or message or instruction that people can look to in the future to know how to fix the world.
Mm-hmm.
For me, obviously it's supposed to be sort of a retelling of the fall of Rome, I guess, but in a modern setting applied to America.
Yeah,
but for me, the biggest comparison felt like Metropolis.
Yeah, definitely.
The Fritz Lang film, because it's
because of also the titles.
Am I going insane? I that's the thing. I don't want to sound too shallow and be like, "What? They both had but in Opolis." Yeah, it's Fritz Lang. Okay, I'm correct. Well, they both had in Opolis.
Mm-hmm.
No, because it's one that it does feel like there's a lot of expressionist stuff in there, a lot of strange stuff that feels like it's trying to be ahead of its time intentionally, and strange and pushing boundaries a bit on what you expect from a film, much like Metropolis did. But it's but beyond that, it's got that same sort of really grand. I mean, this film calls itself a fable, but Metropolis also in a similar way. You have the whole thing of even the end of the film struck me a lot of Metropolis, because the end of Metropolis ends with the workers and the leaders shaking hands, coming together, because you have this one guy. You have for the brain and the hands to function, you need the heart between them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
basically a love letter to middle managers out of everywhere. And this had a similar thing to me. It feels like the ending is very similar for me, but not exactly about the same thing. But it has
like we have to come together for the future, sort of thing.
yeah,
I
sort
don't
of,
know,
but more
I don't
just
know.
like you'd have the literal like shaking hands of Giancarlo Esposito's character, the mayor, and Adam Driver's Caesar finally shaking hands, and it's a kind of like this acceptance of each other. You know, these two opposing ideals of how society should be run coming together because of their women.
I don't
It
know,
feels
man.
like their women kind of take the place between them, almost as like the emotional bridge between these two great men who are just trying to create a society that is good for the future. And
Yeah.
I think Metropolis is a similar thing where it's like
it's like that.
society
Honestly,
is
it's more
falling
like
apart. Yeah.
like the mayor's daughter is like, you should do what Caesar does, and then his wife, mayor's wife, goes, you should like listen to them and do what they do, you know, sort of thing. Look at how cool these walkways are, you know. It's like, wow.
They have cool
So
walkways.
it isn't like joining. It's more of like, yeah, I accept the way that you propose, you know.
Yeah, no,
I
but
give
what I
in.
mean is that it's similar to me in that
Oh,
way
okay,
of
yeah.
like it's about doing what's right for the future. You know, the in Metropolis, the hand and the mind, the leadership and the labor are like have two opposed. It comes to a head when the society is starting to collapse because the people who are doing the labor are having to do too much, you know, and the people who are in charge are like just resting on on all of the work of the people doing the labor, and you need more of like an even balance for society to continue and be together
Yeah.
and stuff. It's been a little while since I've seen Metropolis. It was like
but
a year or two ago.
Yeah.
But either way, the big thing for me was Metropolis watching this film, and I was like,
Yeah, and especially with like what you said, it's just kind of like the what's it called? Not Cubanism. What did you say? Like
expressionist.
expressionist. There you go.
Like obviously, like it's part of that era of cinema in Germany, so it was all silent, so it had to be really over the top and stuff. Whereas in this, it makes it a very awkward thing where characters are really overacting and like just the way it's shot and everything. It's like it makes you think like this is a strange movie.
This is a bit of a like. There's like
I
really
feel like I'm
weird
talking
stuff
about
in
this in a way that makes
because
me
it's
sound stupid because it's like hard for me to
because
like
apparently, you know, the scene where Adam Driver is doing Hamlet, he's doing like, or not, to be or not to be. Apparently, that's just an outtake. That's like just something that they were rehearsing, and he just included it in the movie. Because I was looking at that scene, and I was like, this is shot differently. Like I was like looking at this looks different to the rest of the movie, and then I heard that fan, I was like, what the fuck, you know, like okay, he was like, this is cool. I'm gonna put it in the movie, you know. I guess. And it's like, why not, you know? But
it makes Caesar seem so intelligent at the beginning and sophisticated.
Yeah, because
you know he's smart because he quotes things all the time.
Hamlet, like in the like exactly like even like you said, I'm a bit scared also of like maybe I'm dumb, you know. Like that's the thing. Maybe I'm not into this stuff.
It's
Maybe
nothing
I should
to do
be,
with that.
Maybe I should be more. Do I have to be more into this, like, you know, kind of theoretical fear and stuff and all this, like, to be able to understand this movie more, you know? But at the same time,
that's my second point. My second thing that I took away from the movie mostly is that it's like. It feels like a movie that's very, very concerned with being smart, but it doesn't feel like any of the messaging is particularly
like
good
pointed,
or interesting or nuanced. It's just like Cesar is he literally. It's hard to make a movie where you're like, society will be better if we listen to the great men, but then you also go, here's my great man, he has made super technology.
Yeah, like that's the thing. The first thing that I spoke to someone about this movie, and I was like, that was one of the first things that I kind of mentioned. It's like, I'm kind of sick of stories where it's like it's something's bad. We could fix the world. I have this magic thing that can fix the world. And I was like, what the fuck?
And everybody hated him for it. Everybody hated him for having the magic thing.
The magic thing,
and
nobody
it's like, believed it could fix the world. Except for him.
Exactly, and that it's like immediately kind of cheapens the story, the fable, I guess, in a way. It's like
that's what makes it a fable, isn't it? It's not really rooted in reality.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's like, okay, it's like there's like the thing is that there are mentions of like, is the what is it called again? I always forget what Megalon is. Is it safe? It's unstable? Like they mention these things on like in the background. It's on the news, but I don't know. The news lies, I guess.
Well, that's the thing. It's all of the lies about Megalon are framed not so much in like, us as the viewers are supposed to go, oh damn, is it? It's more framed in the way of like
they're
trying to bring Caesar down.
Yeah.
They're trying to. They're coming up with anything they can to try and stop Caesar.
The mainstream media, it's gonna fucking not let you
like hates him and is jealous that he doesn't love her back.
Yeah, teenagers are overdosing on Megalon. They've been injecting themselves with Megalon,
They've been cutting off their limbs and then replacing them with Megalon.
Yeah, because you can do that, apparently.
And it will grow back. So good.
It's just so fucking good. It's
He gets shot in the head and they put Megalon in his skull and it goes back to wherever. It's like... That's a part of it that's a fable. You need to at least step into the world of the film and be like, it's.
But the thing is that it's not like I don't know. Like it's for me, it's not an interesting fable. It's not an interesting fable at all.
No, the thing. So the main takeaway for me is that I think if it's a political movie. It's all about politics. It's about whether we should try and make what we currently have work, continue to try and make it work, or if we should try something bold and new. Let some new, fresh, insane, imaginative, creative thinker take over and we'll jump into the unknown together, and it might be scary. But as Caesar says, it's only scary if you don't know what's there or something. I can't remember. He has this whole fucking speech about the unknown, it's like
that's one of the kind of hard things about talking about this movie. It would be good to, like, if you genuinely wanted to make a review of this movie, to have a copy of it and be able to kind of listen again to the speech to make sense of them, because there's a lot of speeches in this movie where
it's a movie that requires multiple viewings because there's a lot of various plot lines going on.
There is ideas too that you need to kind of work out what they're about, specifically, because
and because of how strange and otherworldly a lot of the dialogue and acting and cinematography and sets and design and everything is, it makes it even harder to like keep up with what's going on half the time. Because it's like you just get caught up in some other shit. You start wondering, you start listening to some of Adam Driver's line deliveries, and then you realize that you weren't paying attention properly, and then you're like, fuck, now I don't know what's going on. Suddenly all of it, like, the whole side plot with WoW Platinum and Shia LaBeouf's character trying to, like, Claudio or whatever, trying to, like, take over the... I thought the old man was his dad, but then they started calling him his uncle, but also his grandfather.
Yeah,
So and it was like, oh, we're gonna make you the interim CEO of the bank. She has this whole idea where Claudio is going to become interim CEO of the bank and get him to sign up to sign on this contract to make this happen. But
also a member of the board or something like that. It's weird.
So and by doing this, they're going to be able to push him out and then take control and become the real CEO of the bank. But then he reads the contract and he realizes what's going on
immediately
and wants to kill him. But then also he goes like senile or something.
He gets like a stroke. He like gets a stroke or something.
But then he pretends to be feeble
Yeah.
so that he can kill them later on
Yeah.
because they managed to take control of the bank somehow.
Yeah.
And then when he kills them, he has control of the bank again, and he gives all of his money to Caesar.
Yes.
And this is like the last 15 minutes of the movie is dedicated to like all of this stuff with the bank, and I still don't understand. What happens? It doesn't make any sense.
It's still funny to me, like the idea that the bank, like they call it the bank, like it has just so
It's
like
just
it
a
holds
bank.
it
It has
holds all of the
everybody's
wealth.
money.
Yeah, it's
It is the bank. It is the bank that has all of the money.
Yeah, and it's like
because of that, it can give all of the money to Caesar.
It's like that's the thing. It's like I don't think a bank works where it's like you own it, so you own all the money in it at the same time. I don't think that's how it works. I think you're an entity that holds other people's money.
To go back to something I was saying a minute, maybe like 5 minutes ago, this movie doesn't make any sense if you look at it from any actual like political framework, because there's absolutely nothing here. So the movie ultimately is just using that for art. It's all about art. It's about filmmaking. I think the main takeaway is that Francis Ford Coppola, to me at least, my reading of it, is that we should stop making movies for money, and we should make movies to make movies and push a medium forward.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
that's what it is to me. I think it's because I think the mayor is supposed to sort of represent an executive or executive producer or something, somebody who is like funding money but wants everything to stay as it is because that's what's making money, even though people are becoming more and more miserable with getting the same thing over and over. Yeah. Whereas Caesar maybe represents a pioneer in the industry, somebody who wants to push it forward.
A rich pioneer that has his own funding.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's ultimately it's all about like, it's kind of like...
So what is he influencing anyway? Like the mayor. It's so weird because he's like, they call him the Caesar is part of a bureau of design or some shit, like some made up entity, design authority, and it's like, what the fuck is this? You know?
I don't know.
I get it. I do get what you're saying, like with the idea of like if you apply this to movies specifically, I think
it's about production of art in like a capitalist society.
Yeah.
It's like
exactly.
At least to me,
it does make sense.
Francis Ford Coppola saying, I think that people should be given money just to make movies and not for it to return investment on the box office. You know?
Yeah, they should be able to make They should be able to let me make Megalopolis with, in a way, with other people's money, not my own. I want my wine business back, you know?
It's interesting because that's part of the reaction to this movie, at least on the first weekend, is how poorly it is doing. Mm-hmm. Because you can make fun of that, but to me, that's almost the point. I don't think he intentionally made a movie that people wouldn't want to see, but I do think it feeds into its own message where it's like, it's not about making money. Creating art shouldn't be about making money. It should be about improving society. Whether or not you can actually, whether or not you actually believe that art can improve society, or if it's reflective of society. You know,
that's true.
But I think Francis Ford Coppola kind of sees Caesar as, or at least sets him up as like a pioneer film director of old, you know, like a Fritz Lang, maybe like of his era, even like Coppola himself or Spielberg, or Spielberg or Lucas or Scorsese, any like, I know obviously there's probably many non-white film directors that you could also name from that time. I'm just going for what probably is in Coppola's mind because he is of that group.
His friends?
His friends, essentially, you know. His friends, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. So that's my reading of the film. But yeah, I mean, it's when you put it against like
what it actually
political
uses,
backdrop,
it
makes for a film that just feels like
really weird,
naive. Even you could say, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good way of putting it. Naive, like it feels like
it's a very naive worldview. It's a very like almost Ayn Rand kind of.
What if we
need
just
to trust in the great people who will lead us forward,
Yeah.
and not let the masses try and take over, because they won't do as good a job as the great man.
Because and also in the end, the masses will see that the great man was right.
They just need to give him. They need to let him cook, as they say nowadays.
Yeah,
need to let the great man cook. Let him make Megalon and build Megalopolis. Because you're going to go into Megalopolis and you're going to see the walkways. You're going to be like, wait a minute, I'm only 5 minutes away from a theater and a hospital. This is perfect.
This
is
insane.
How society should be.
The theater is empty because nobody's going there because it's not that popular anymore. You know?
But then you think, so whenever you look at it through that worldview, it's all about how this world is going to end. But it's like, this is only a small part. It's so America-centric that it feels childish almost. It's like there's a million other societies in this world, right?
It's like one of the things is like
will happen if America falls.
One of the things that kind of made me really sad, honestly. One of the things that it's the initial dialogue, I think, initial big speech where they got the model of the city. Below them on these catwalks, and they talk about how they need to if we're not going to save ourselves, we just need to leave something basically great for the and I was like, what the fuck, I don't fucking give a fuck. Like Rome, they left the fucking
Rome.
Colosseum, and it's
Rome may have fell, but at least they left all of these buildings.
Wonders, it's like, who gives a fuck, honestly. It's really weird to kind of a lot of all these themes in this movie are very kind of naive and kind of not nice, honestly. Not something I agree with personally, So maybe that's why. Maybe if I agreed with these themes, I would be a lot more. And maybe if they were more, like you said, more applied to specifically creativity, not in this politics used as a metaphor for creativity, which is weird. I feel like, I don't know.
Well,
it doesn't
because
work.
I suppose it's about architecture.
Yeah,
as art,
Yeah, that's true.
If you were to look at the side of it that is in there, so I think that's not a bad allegory to draw, because architecture is both supposed to have a function as well as an appeal, like a form to it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. But
it works in the sense that if you compare it to movies, a movie is supposed to have appeal, but also it's supposed to use that appeal to make money back,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I guess the allegory kind of works, but
kind of.
Do you really need him to be able to go time stop, and then time stops? Does he need time stopping abilities?
I don't know, because he seems he just yanks off to whatever he sees at the time. He just kind of goes wow, And he also has a weird power to be able, at the beginning of the movie where he's about to jump off of the Empire State Building or whatever building, because it's not New York, it's New Rome.
Well, no, New Rome is in New York. I think it is New York City.
Okay, yeah.
It's just New Rome is like a district in New York City, or
I
a
guess
building.
maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, but he does leap over the edge, but then he's able to go back. Back.
He's losing his balance, and then he stops time, and he's able to sort of
bend his body in a way to regain it, which is so it's implying that he can also change the direction of movement while he's in time stopping. So but yeah, it's I guess it's time and art, and stopping time in art, capturing time, whatever.
For all intents and purposes, I think this is a very well-made movie and a very interesting movie. One that I want to watch again. I think it's got some good imagery. I think it does interesting things. It does try and push boundaries. You know, the whole thing where they wanted a version of this film, I think, on Amazon where you could talk to Adam Driver and ask him questions.
They learned. They learned. They
wanted
give
to do shit
ChatGPT like make an instance of ChatGPT that's like you're Adam Driver from Megalopolis.
Yeah.
Someone's going
You
to
are
ask you
Caesar.
about the city or whatever, and then you can type in a question or whatever.
There's a lot of interesting imagery. I don't know. I do like the movie. I like it a lot, but I don't know if it's a good movie. And a big thing for why I can't feel like going back to the Metropolis thing is that Metropolis was not beloved in its time. We look at it now as like one of the greatest films ever made. Obviously,
Yeah.
it pushed the medium forward a huge amount, but like at the time, it was people didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I think it could. I think in a way, I think that it's almost an intentional aspect of this film from Coppola is to make this film that is very strange and does new things, but also some old things in a modern sense. You know, like the vignette. There's quite a bit of vignetting in the film. You know. Where it will circle in on something you have to pay attention to, which that's a very
that's like a
old movie sort of thing.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a lot of stuff like that, but it also blends it in with a lot of like CGI, a lot of green screen, and there's a lot of mix of everything over the last 100 years of cinema.
Yeah, but
There's in-camera
like,
effects, there's digital effects, there's all sorts of shit.
looking at the CGI and stuff. That I feel
Well,
like
just kinda
it looked
to finish-
horrible in this movie. Honestly.
Okay, just to finish my point though, I think it's because of all of that, I don't know if I can really judge this film properly for like 20 years.
Maybe that's true.
I'm
We
like,
need- we
let's
need
see
time.
this feels like the kind of movie that begs to be revisited more than anything.
Let it ferment and
Kind of, yeah, like a fine wine.
a fine wine or
A fine wine.
bottle of vinegar at the end of the day.
I think,
but,
and I think that's kind of what it's supposed to be. It's like he's building this. He's trying to build a movie equivalent of a wonder,
yeah.
something that you can revisit in the future and get a sense of.
I feel like the political
society at that
references on
point
this
and
movie are
stuff.
gonna age it really poorly. If
But
that's
then at
what's
the
gonna
same
happen.
time, aren't they? Are they not so broad that it's like they might apply in the future just as well as much as they might do now? If you think they apply, I don't know. They
guess.
they weaponize migrants and stuff in this film and the disenfranchised because they're all pissed off with Caesar because he's building megalopolis and bulldozing houses where disenfranchised people live.
Yeah.
And so, rightly so, they're a little annoyed, but they can't see the grand design.
Yeah, they can't see
They
it.
can't
They're just
understand. They
let
can't
him,
even comprehend Caesar's
yeah.
vision, so they're mad. They don't want him to do it.
They don't need to. They don't
that's
need
what-
housing now. They need housing in the future. That's
Exactly. That's they think they need housing now, but what they need is something more sustainable.
Yeah, like
And it's going to cost tearing down what they have now to build
Yeah.
it. And they
Yeah,
just don't
exactly.
understand it. But that
They
gets
just don't understand
weaponized
it.
by Claudio, and then is sort of aligned with like a fascism. It kind of
Yeah.
develops into fascism.
yeah, because they like kind of directly they strung him up like Mussolini at the end, basically.
Yeah, at the end they
sort of thing.
string him and his buddy up that he pulled
Yeah.
out of the marching band.
Yep. He was a groiper basically, but yeah.
Yeah, he was a grouper.
But yeah, it's I don't know. We'll see. I that's true. That's maybe this movie needs time to kind of
Not
fester
to
a
say that
little
it
bit,
will
but
be
it's-
more applicable. I'm not trying to say like, oh, this movie is. I'm not saying that it is ahead of its time, but I think the movie is trying to be ahead of its time. And whether it was ahead of its time or not, we'll never know until we're in the time that in the future, I guess.
yeah, I guess.
But like, I don't know. It's a big commentary on art and cinema specifically, to me at least, from my reading, and I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting
Yeah.
film.
I don't
It's
think
self-indulgent, but it's earned the right to be self-indulgent because he put all the money in.
he put all the money in. You
He
know.
put all the money in.
Um,
What do you want to
and
say?
he also had some allegations while making this movie, so you know.
Womp womp. Yeah.
Well, but you know,
But
I guess
who knows? He'll be dead in like 2 years or something.
days,
because his body shuts down.
2
He made
days, 6
Megalopolis,
hours,
and now
20
he can-
minutes.
Now he can go to bed.
2
Good night,
seconds.
Grandpa Coppola.
Goodbye. You close his eyes and then put a
I'm
pillow
sure
over
you
their
will.
head and then.
I'm sure
Wonderful.
you'll be in some home before they even call you to court for what you may or may not have done.
Yeah, and then you'll go, I'm too feeble to go to prison.
Yeah, it'd be like Uncle June in Sopranos.
Yeah.
You're going to start pretending that you have Alzheimer's so that they can throw the case out, but then it turns out you actually develop Alzheimer's.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's a good side story. It's a good subplot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not
But,
subplot.
yeah.
It's a good plot line in Sopranos.
It would be definitely be interesting because, like, currently, the outlook isn't very favorable for this movie in general.
No,
so.
of course not. But I mean, everybody
Uh,
knew that going in.
Yeah, that's true.
This is
It was a
this is the only
self-indulging
way
movie.
it could have gone. Everybody, it was like, because he was shopping and he was showing it to people, and they were like, "We can't make this. This is insane. One, it would cost a lot of money, and two, nobody's gonna see it. So why
Yeah.
would you make it?" But that's almost what the movie's about, you know.
Yeah. they
It's
should
like
just
we don't
let
want
me
this.
do
Make a
stuff.
Marvel movie. And I do agree with that sentiment.
Maybe he will make a
Like-
Marvel movie when he runs out of money after having wasted all of it on Megalopolis, you know?
Yeah, maybe
We become the monsters, you know, that we were raving about before.
But I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I guess it's easy for me to agree with that because that's my reading of the film. The movie might not actually be about that for Coppola, but the way I read it, at least, I agree with that sentiment. I think there should be much more art that is made for the sake of it being art than
Yeah.
there is nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
And there is...
But it's hard.
I don't
to-
think
hard
it's
to do that.
because society doesn't want to create art. I think people are in bad place right now. And there isn't
Oh, no,
enough
definitely.
money going around to make indulgent projects, you know?
Well, it's because unfortunately you have incestuous rich people like
Yeah.
Elon Musk
Like
hoarding all the wealth.
hoarding all the wealth, and his dad who had sex with his stepdaughter or something ridiculous like that. Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
Well, it
certainly
is
something.
literally
I'm
just
sure
what it
that's
is,
something
right?
we can both agree on. Is that the portrayal of
Of rich
nepotism
people, yeah.
babies in this film? Well, perhaps
Don't he saw
not
it.
inaccurate.
He probably seen those circles, you know. He saw it.
Yeah.
His own eyes, and he just put it on the screen for us to indulge in.
Mhm. He's
Sure.
like, I'm a master of nepotism. Check it out.
Check it out. My daughter's made a movie.
Not to comment on her filmmaking. I'm speaking more about other Coppolas, like one Nick Cage.
That's true. I forgot that he's a Coppola. Yeah, he is a Coppola.
yeah.
But he changed his name. He changed
He's
his
a
name.
great.
So he did.
This is always the hardest part with when you talk about nepotism, because I'm trying to make a case about it, but at the same time, Sofia Coppola and Nick Cage, I can't complain about them.
Well, you know,
They're great.
they're good people, maybe.
But then
that's,
maybe
that's more
somebody
than
who
anything.
doesn't come from those connections and or money could be even better, and we'll never know.
We'll
That's
never know.
the real
Maybe
worry about
imagine
nepotism.
a parallel universe where the person that's like Nick Cage is just some other guy. He was just like a guy that went into wanting to be in movies. He wasn't rich, and he was like, that's our Nick Cage in this parallel universe, you know. But he's called
Max!
like Joe. What the
What
fuck?
did you think of Tulsa King?
Jesus.
I'm interrupting
What I
us
thought,
before
what I
you
thought about,
this is a Tulsa King podcast. Everybody, I
about-
tricked you.
yeah, I forgot that
Season 2, episode 3.
we've been speaking about. Well,
people
honestly,
versus
the thing
light.
about it is that like that we get a contrast here, right? We got Megalopolis. A guy is like, I can't make my Megalopolis. Everyone's in my way. Tulsa King. He's making the Megalopolis.
He gets
doesn't
the
wait.
people out of his way.
He
In this
doesn't
episode,
wait.
and this is the thing, we're going into the darker side now because he kills
Yeah.
that guy at the end. They stab him.
So dark. Woo.
It
As
is.
it-
Because
it is-
before now,
it is-
everything was kind of like white collar crime, a little like,
Yeah.
you know, not
It is-
good, but well,
it-
except for when they killed all the bikers and shot them.
It
to
is
death and
pretty
stuff.
funny.
That
They're
was
like
maybe too much.
reminding us that,
But they
oh
were
yeah,
evil.
he is a mafioso that's going to kill people in his
Yeah, yeah,
way.
yeah. But this was I like this episode. This was a good episode. I like the little subplot of the homeowners association. That was funny.
Yeah.
Because you see that guy turn up in his little car, and you're like, oh, here we go.
A real job's worth coming around.
Kind of a real job's worth coming in.
Yeah.
And then later on, he's doing his word search in his big chair, and he's like, ex-mafia Dwight Manfredi is wins court case, and he's like, ex-mafia. And then he drives over there. He's like, I figured I even said anything.
I'm so
Figured
sorry.
I even complained about those minor, because you know what? It's true. Fuck the homeowners association.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck them. Fuck the HOA.
Yeah,
It's fucked up that in America they can fine you.
It's really funny that that's like a thing that exists.
I thought the whole point of that country was supposed to be like individual freedom and civil liberty and stuff. And a group of other people on your block can be like, your garbage was out on the curb too long.
Ben, you forgot about something. The reason why HOAs exist is to increase property value, and the money is way more worth it than civil liberties and freedom, if you forgot about that.
And that's why we need people like Dwight coming in and showing them, fuck the HOA. This is my house. If I want to keep the garage door open more than 20 minutes, I can. Fuck you.
Yeah, it's... We got a lot of we got the end of the court case in this.
Yep. Dwight
one.
wins.
Dwight
Lady
just wins.
leaves. She goes to Anchorage. I guess is she not in the show anymore?
I guess maybe
she seemed like kind of an important character in the first season, but maybe in the second season she was like, I don't really want.
I was laughing quite a bit at that, because that fucking U.S.
so
like state attorney was so fucking not putting in the effort. He like gave up immediately.
It should be so easy. Dwight's whole defense was like, I was just trying to be a nice guy.
Yeah, it was a gift.
Is it wrong to be a nice guy in America nowadays?
You know what they say,
And they
nice
loved it.
guys
They ate it
finish last, you know.
For real. They ate it up.
For once, could they finish first?
He half-assed it. He had like a stomach infection. He was not on his full game, the district attorney. And then he calls him up after he calls up fucking
Thresher,
Thresher, and is like, my bad.
Yeah, I know. He just like says like nothing. He's like, because he has nothing. Like, he can't say, oh, he did this like maneuver I didn't expect. You know, he just like one fucking argument, and then he shut the entire case down.
It was
you know,
such a bad because it's like he basically admitted to doing it.
Yeah, to doing it. Yeah.
But also, the way he admitted to doing it for nice reasons. So the jury was like, he's just a nice guy at the end of it. He was trying to be nice. He had a crush on this lady, and she used him for sex. This sweet old Italian man.
Yeah, this sweet old. We do actually get his age, right? Like 75.
Yeah, he's 75. Yeah, he was 75. Yeah.
I know. You know.
But he wins. He won.
He wins. He's got so much wisdom in him, you know.
Mm-hmm. He really does. He didn't get his lazy boy though. He was trying to get a lazy
He was
boy.
very sad in that scene. Like, he genuinely looked like
he really wanted a lazy boy.
Stallone himself could be like really in character, as if something like that happened to him in real life.
Like, he wanted a lazy boy, and they were like, "Let's get this like ergonomic chair that looks nice and does basically the exact same stuff."
He could embody the character really well for that scene. Yeah.
I think he'll learn to love. I think he'll grow to love the chair, though.
Yeah, he was like,
I think next episode or something.
My back doesn't hurt in this show.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, "Oh, this is doing wonders for my back." He had sex with the lady that runs the stable or something.
Well, that's on the out, like
that's
on
the
the out
new
of the
love
episode.
Interest. That's the new love interest.
Thrasher was trying to get in on her. He was like, "Well, I'm so rich too. I could buy 2 horses." It's like, fuck off.
Rich.
I'm rich.
I'm rich. I could buy this whole stable and 1 million horses.
Don't you love
she
horses?
Was like, "Yeah, but you're not the Italian stallion, buddy."
Yeah, that's true. That is
you're not
absolutely
the Italian stallion, Rocky Balboa. Right, so back off. There was a mystery guy in this episode. Did you catch it in the
Mystery
entourage?
guy?
There was like do you remember when they're doing they're practicing
The mock trial.
his mock trial in the weed
Yeah.
shop, and there was just that other guy.
He was like
who
a weed
like-
guy, yeah.
Have we seen him before?
I feel like he was just in the weed store too, like in the like.
No,
old
because he
weed
turns
store.
up at the end at the party with everybody. Remember? Is he like? He seems like he might be the boyfriend of the lady that works
The
at the
lady.
weed store.
Yeah, I think it might
I
be.
don't know, but I feel like we've never seen him before.
Yeah, maybe he just like comes in, like whenever he feels like it, records an episode of Tulsa
He's like,
King. Maybe
yeah,
he's just unreliable.
He's hanging around.
Yeah,
every now and then.
he's a nephew
Like,
of
are we
the
gonna get
producer or
Tony
something.
today, or
Yeah,
I don't know. But yeah, we have Dwight finally meets with the other mafia guy in Oklahoma City.
Mhm.
He comes down and he's like, I want a piece of what you've got going on here. You're going to work for me from now on. And Dwight is like, no, I don't understand anybody anymore. Not even Chickless or whatever the guy's called.
Mhm.
The guy who killed the dad in the first season.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, fine. Fuck you, Dwight.
Yeah. Have it your
They-
way.
Yeah. Have it your way, Burger King. And then he comes back. No, he doesn't come back, but his underling comes back
His
at the end of the
underling.
episode. He's like, oh, yeah, well, we're really happy that you could at least come and meet us. And then stab.
Yeah.
Die. Kill.
They stab the underling.
Yep.
And
And
you
then-
dump his body in front of the guy's house.
Dump
you know?
his body in front of his house. And in his hand, the red to buck, we deliver.
Yeah.
Order and delivery.
Nice. And he's like, this is what...
pick up and delivery or something.
And then he cooks him and eats him, you know, because he thinks
Yeah.
this is delivery food.
That's what
you
the
know?
spare ribs are made of. It's the house
but yeah.
specialty.
But yeah, what else is in this episode that I thought was funny?
It was kind of fun. They're going. They're
Tyler's
getting
reading
the
a
car
Bible.
place.
No?
Yeah, he's reading a Bible. He gets a watch. At the end, he's like, "I want in on the dropping the dead guy off
Yeah,
at the
because
house."
he wants to be in deep, you know? He
He's
wants
getting
to
in
be
too
it.
deep. He didn't even need to see it as well. He came out like incidentally just to be like, "Hey guys," and then he sees a stabbing and he's like, "All right, time to ingratiate myself even further into
Yeah.
crime."
Yes,
And is this
exactly.
not? Is it going to pay off for him?
I wanna
We don't
prove
know.
it.
This is like Dwight is now slipping back into like because the whole green energy thing. They were like, we're going to go clean, green a little bit. You know.
Yeah, exactly. There's a really cool, funny scene with at the end when he goes back to the bar and Bodhi or whatever is there, and he has the worst line delivery in the world where he says like, "You were so good in front of the juries, Dwight," and he looks like he's got a gun pointed at him off camera.
I'm
as
a
he's
little
saying it.
worried that we're gonna get Bodhi double crossing soon because
Honestly,
he was turned up late. Remember?
that's true.
Because he was there at the court, but then he turned up late to the party, and they're like, "Hey, Bodhi, where were you?" And he's like, "Don't worry about it." Anyway,
Don't
Dwight,
worry about.
you were great up there. And on top of that, another plot point is we had Thresher buying off
Yeah.
the guy who's getting divorced in Dwight's crew, who's late
Yes.
on money for Dwight.
Yeah.
He's like giving him 30 grand. So maybe Thresher already got the Bodhi.
That's true. Yeah. All the bitcoins he gave him. Do you want these bitcoins, boy?
Yeah, because we know Thresher's a weed guy as well.
Yeah, because we see his
no
hydroponic, like,
He's got the hydroponic with
and
a Chinese guy.
Yes, and he's got a racist Chinese like hat on, so we know specifically it's the triads.
The triads are here.
Yes, it's the Thresher that
I
hosts
can't
them.
wait. I can't wait.
So it's soon
I'm
enough we're
so
going to
excited.
have some action from them probably.
What a
you know?
good show, man.
Yeah,
What a
but-
fun show.
Well, I don't know
Thank
what's
you,
gonna happen
Paramount
next,
Plus.
honestly.
We love you.
Now that the trial finished, I
Yeah.
don't know. I guess next thing that they're gonna do is they're gonna do weed, right? And no, I mean the energy, the wind turbines. They gotta
They're
finish
gonna
them
have
up.
to try and get the money to buy that, and then yeah,
Yeah.
And then they're gonna have to
guess
fight the Triads.
The gang war, right? Because not only the Triads, but they're also fighting the old mafia from the old family from New York.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So so many
It's an
things.
exciting time to be a Tulsa King fan.
It's an exciting time.
It's
to
an
be a
exciting
Tulsa King.
time to be a
Yes.
Tulsa King.
A Tulsa head. You
A
know?
Tulsa head.
Mm-hmm.
It's an exciting time to be a Tulsa King. Maybe that's what we should. You know what? I'm a Tulsa King. You're a
Yeah.
Tulsa King.
Yeah.
We love Tulsa King.
We get up when they say like, "Where's Tulsa King?" We all get up and we're like, "I'm Tulsa King. I'm Tulsa King."
I am Tulsa King.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You done anything else?
At Megalopolis.
We're all megalopolis, you know.
I watched Logan.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very good comic book movie.
Comic book movie.
I didn't know it had so much Patrick Stewart in it. I didn't know they had dementia Professor X in the movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot that. He
It's
goes
like a
through like,
major
but he's
thing.
it's not just dementia. He's got like weird combined with his ability dementia, doesn't he? He's got
Well,
like
it's his dementia gives him like seizures and stuff, and when he has one, he's like he like paralyzes everybody in like
oh yeah, that's what it
like
is.
a kilometer radius.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. I don't think Professor X should get degenerative brain diseases.
You think his
It
brain
just doesn't
regenerates?
seem realistic to me. Not that it regenerates, but it's like he's got a super brain.
True.
Why is he maybe if he had some kind of other strange thing, but I don't know why he would get just regular you know what it is? Probably all the microplastics from Cerebro.
Honestly, that's true.
Probably
Yeah.
all the Cerebro microplastics.
Well,
Flex
you
it
know, no one can escape him, even the mutants. You know,
Yeah.
eventually you'll get them too.
But
Except
it wasn't.
because that one guy
very
that's immune
fun
to
movie.
everything, that adapts to everything, is gone, so he can't survive them by eating them like in Crimes of the Future. You know.
Yeah. It was very depressing. Maybe a little too much so. It was a bit like look, I don't want to be too critical,
Yeah.
but it felt a bit like forced to me. It's like
It is from
like,
what I remember.
it felt like it was depressing for the sake of being like a miserable.
It's a
adult
misery
comic book
like
movie,
train a little bit. Yeah.
It's like, man, everything sucks in this, especially after you come from like 10 other X-Men movies that are like, in some cases, maybe almost as violent as this. They cut away maybe, but there's still a lot of like killing and murder and blood, with Wolverine at least. You come to this one and it's like, man, everything's so depressing. And there's not even like any fun characters that turn up. All the other X-Men films, like they sprinkle in people here and there, you know? Like Gambit and Emma Frost. They just chuck them in there like, oh, this movie's got Sabretooth in it. In this one, it's like you got Logan, you got Dementia Professor X, Logan who's dying, Dementia Professor X, the little girl,
Weapon X or whatever.
X something,
I don't know.
and then Evil Logan that they made.
Yeah.
And there's nobody else. Could you imagine if Gambit turned up in this film? It would have been awesome.
It would have been awesome. A little bit.
And then you had Stephen
sunlight,
Merchant.
little sun.
Yeah.
You know, coming into this
This array of sunshine. This is all of these movies could have been improved by Gambit.
Yeah. But Channing Tatum was unavailable at the time whenever they were making new, so they couldn't get him, you know, at the time. So they were like, I guess we're just not putting Gambit in because that's the only person that can do it, you know.
I did
play.
also watch Dark Phoenix, but I started playing a mini golf game on my PC about halfway through and stopped paying attention because it was very, very bad.
Yeah, you were like,
very
oh,
good.
only if I wish I had the X-Men ability to move this ball where I want it because I'm going like 3 over par.
I
and
mean,
shit.
that is kind of like what you do in a digital mini golf game. You know, you like moving it with your mind.
That's true with your mouse.
Yeah,
Yes.
with your mouse, your mind in the game.
I watched some stuff. I
did
played
you watch?
I played a game like a short experience. Like it's more of a, like a walking sim. Basically, it's called Mouth Washing. It was a pretty cool little story about responsibility. Like some people, basically, you're a crew of like people that do like long haul space shift. Like they haul cargo across really long distances. So that your like shift is like a year long, right? Like the entire thing. And you crash basically in the middle of it, and it shows all the like you go through like all the processes of like trying to survive in a way, and a lot of stuff happens, and don't really want to spoil it because I recommend it a little bit. I don't want to spoil it for everybody because if anybody likes little walking sim, it's pretty short. So if anyone's interested in that sort of stories, it took me like 2 hours to beat. So I recommend it.
Cool. Well, there's your little catch ups for the week. I'm seeing The Substance on Thursday. I don't know if you have any plans on seeing it.
I would like to see it, but the showings are in the awkward place in the cinema near me. So it's just I might wait for it to come out on VOD or whatever.
On Mubi.
On VOD. VOD.
Mubi.
Mubi.
Well,
but
I'm seeing it this Thursday. So I'll report back next week. Until then, I'm going to try and stop being sick. So thanks for listening.
Try it?
Yeah, I'm going to give it a go. I've been Ben. This has been Max.
Yeah, that's me.
Want to respond? Okay, all right. I was sitting there waiting for you to be like a hi or something or a goodbye. Anyway,
no, I said because I stopped time. But I guess I thought I stopped time, but in reality I didn't.
If you're going to do that from now on, can you please yell time stop?
Yeah, that's true. I forgot to do it. I thought if I just say it in my brain it will work. But
I like that early on he does it with a lot of like effort and gumption, but then by the end he's just kind of like time stop.
Because he's more used to using his abilities.
Anyway, if you would like us to talk to you about Megalopolis directly, you can email us deadensigns@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment on YouTube where we upload the podcast. You can listen to it there. You can like and subscribe, but if you don't want to do it there, you can go to Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, wherever the hell you get a podcast. We're probably on there. And in a lot of those places, you can even review it, subscribe, follow, whatever it is, save it. And check out next week. We'll be talking about some other crap, probably.
And if you can't wait for us to respond, then go on ChatGPT and ask them your Max and Ben from Dead Ensigns.
Take every episode, run it through a transcribing AI, put that into a ChatGPT thing, and then say, now respond as though Ben and Max would from Dead Ensigns. Yeah. And it probably will.
And you basically copied our souls into that device, so
we'll both feel a little bit weaker for it.
Weaker from it, yes. So
Until
don't do it
time,
too much.
Yeah, please. Maybe that's why I feel bad today and sick. Goodbye.
Bye.
It's shorted out, sir. We're gonna have to phaser it.
Then what are you waiting for?
Right away, sir.
Faster would be better, Ensign.
I can't, sir. We don't want to.
That's enough.
But, sir.
Stand aside, Carlton. I'm going through. You're alive. Good.